Hi, this is John Flanders with Pluralsight, and in this course and in this module, I'm going to talk about what's new in iOS 7. So the objectives of this first module is for you to learn the basic concepts behind what's new in iOS 7, and then understand how you can apply those same concepts that Apple has applied to their OS and their apps and use them in your own apps. So iOS 7, as the number indicates, is Apple's 7th version of their mobile operating system, mobile OS. It was released in September of 2013, and really it's the first major UI design change in iOS. So the first version of iOS had app icons, Springboard, and of course only those built-in Apple applications. And as the OS progressed from iOS 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, there were of course minor UI changes. Additional views were added, collection views, for example, added in iOS 6. Things changed a little bit when iOS was expanded to iPads instead of just iPhones. But you could easily look at iOS in all of those different versions and tell very easily that this was iOS and it basically looked the same. iOS 7 is a dramatically different look, although it still maintains the basic core framework of iOS of we've got, Springboard with a list of apps. We've got the apps on the tab bar at the bottom of the OS. We've got the slide to lock, and everything is essentially the same, but all of these different elements have been redesigned in one way or another. But this is not just a UI design release. All of the iOS apps have been redesigned as well. So Mail, Safari, Calendar, Photos, Reminders, Notes, all of the built-in apps have been redesigned along with the operating system. And although most of what you'll see in the tech press is about the new UI, there are a lot of things in iOS 7 that go beyond UI. So there's lots of functionality on the back end relating to multitasking, relating to networking, relating to things that you couldn't do in earlier versions of iOS or couldn't do in a very easy way. So lots and lots of goodies for not only the flashy, cool, GUI stuff, but also for the cool back-end functionality that an app can have to enhance that app's potential usage for the user. Now, if we look at the UI, not from a particular aspect of it, but from a conceptual point of view, Apple has basically 3 different things that it's trying to accomplish with this new UI. The first thing is deference. The idea of deference is the Chrome of the UI shouldn't get in the way of the app's content. Another way of saying this is content is king. So in the redesign of not only the OS and their own apps, but in some of the built-in views, for example, table views now have their cells expanded all the way to the edge of the screen, even when the table view is in grouped mode, which is a fairly dramatic change. And they didn't just make that change just because it looks cool, but to give you more screen real estate and themselves screen real estate for content. So one of the major underpinnings of the design of this version is to provide more content. That doesn't necessarily mean lots and lots of content, busy content, but to get the OS and its accoutrement out of the way of the content. Also, clarity. Things should be easy to use. It should be clear about what the app is about and clear on how to use it. How to use the app and the clarity of different components is done in many apps in the new version of iOS with color. So color as a hint to what things are clickable and actionable versus what things are content. And we'll see that as we go along throughout not only this module, but through the rest of the course. And also depth. So in making the OS sort of cleaner by taking away a lot of the Chrome, they still wanted to make the OS have sort of a feel of, being a live device. So depth is provided through transparencies, through dynamic 3D effects, through motion, through blurring. And this is in the OS itself, as well as Apple's own apps. And as this course moves along, I'll talk about those features and how you can, of course, integrate them into your own apps to fit into this new ecosystem, right? This new way of thinking about applications. In fact, iOS 7 is really the first chance that app developers have had to sort of make a statement or a redesign. So apps that have been around, let's say, even from the beginning of the opening of the App Store, users will probably gravitate towards apps that fit in with this new paradigm rather than sticking with old apps that will still run, but don't have this sort of, depth and quality and clarity. So this is what I think, and many other app developers think, is a great opportunity to revisit your own apps, but also a great opportunity to get and put new apps in the App Store, maybe that have even been created before. But with iOS 7, people are going to be looking for iOS 7 versions